recorded. I want to invite everybody to our Band of Brothers tonight. This is Dr. Mindy Weingarten. She practices in Florida in Port Orange. Been in practice for 40 years on the same street, which is alone an accomplishment. She's been speaking at DE. She runs the Parade of Stars along with Paula Hedgeline.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Not anymore? Okay.
I never did.
Oh, well, I
That's
thought my mistake
Marilyn.
then.
They
Okay,
confuse
Marilyn.
me
That's
all
right,
the
Marilyn.
time.
Marilyn, right. So, but she's been down at DE for a long time, and she knows the whole benefit of basically dipping yourself into what chiropractic is about. So, Dr. Weingarten, go ahead.
All righty. Well, I'm happy to be here with you. I'm usually not much of a talker. I absorb a lot. So when I go to DE, I don't very rarely speak from the platform because it just kind of messes with my head to absorb what I need to absorb to be better the next day in my office. And I'm though pure chiropractic. I have no qualms about it. I grew up, well, I'm 38 years in practice. I graduated in 1983 from Life Chiropractic College, and I always still will refer to it as Life Chiropractic College because sometimes I'm a little bit mad about the switch to the university because it made it too broad of a environment that I thought the principal may get lost, and I think it has gotten lost in that environment. I didn't really know anything other than to follow people who were successful at what they were doing. And so I hooked my wagon up to Dr. Sid. I've listened to him, I've read him. I hooked my wagon to everybody that I met at DE that were successful and just asked them all the time what worked. I didn't want to know what didn't work. So I tell that to people all the time. If you're going to go visit offices, don't ask them what didn't work, what works, and follow it. I am not smart enough to reinvent that wheel. And so I just follow directions. And I'm grateful for that. But when you asked me to talk to you, at first I was like, do I want to do one of these? I don't know. Do I have anything to say? And then, of course, when I usually get motivated is because I'm pissed. And there is a group on Facebook that I read because I'm just amazed by how they don't understand what they have in their hands to be so special and so purposeful to make a difference in the world. And someone got on to ask advice, and the advice was that she hadn't seen this patient yet. It was a 42-year-old man who had horrible health, didn't take any responsibility for his health, had a stroke 5 years ago, all his symptoms were worse. She had gotten a whole package of mounds of paperwork and tests. And she said, I haven't seen him yet, but I called my malpractice insurance company to ask them what I should do. And then I'm looking for other advice. And all of the advice was basically from the malpractice was to get permission from the medical doctors to see them. Like any medical doctor is going to first ask us for permission for them to do something to one of the people that come to us. And then most of the people in this chat, because I took a moment because, again, I like steam comes out of my ears, but most of the people that were in the chat agreed that she should get approval, authorization. One even said, get the doctor to write that it's safe for them to have chiropractic care. But none of them really talked about chiropractic in the thing. So I always will answer when someone has advice that you graduated from a chiropractic college, you are a chiropractor. Look at them as a chiropractor and do a chiropractic evaluation. And then I got responses back from them that you're putting her license in jeopardy because you're giving her that advice. And I just wrote back, not giving any advice. I just told her to use what she learned in school and do what's best for the patient for them to have an increase in their life. They've basically been following everything the medical model has given them, and their life is suffering. I didn't add that part. And I didn't add this, but I always think this. If you have no confidence in the philosophy, if you don't have confidence in the science, if you don't have confidence in your approach to doing an adjustment, whether it's with an instrument or with your hands, or if it's network or whatever, if you don't have that confidence, don't take that patient on. Go get your confidence, because you would serve mankind so much better. Tim Langley at DE once said, let me see if I have this, that basically chiropractic is the vehicle to make the world better. And I have used as my office motto, my mission purpose for years, is that my purpose is to make my town better with the vehicle of chiropractic. And so everything I look at is that through the vehicle of chiropractic. And so you asked me the question because that I just don't get it. I mean, I got an email from Fab Mancini, you know, he sends out these emails to join his GPL-1 revolution. So you're telling me that a president of a chiropractic college at one time who spoke and I thought bled chiropractic now will do red light therapy for weight loss, the GPL-1 revolution. So really, what happened? Where did this disconnect happen in our profession? Is it just that it's about money? Is it just about that when they're in the trenches of learning chiropractic, there's nobody sharing what chiropractic is, and then they're graduating without it? It's a WTF moment all the time for me, and it's disappointing. But I don't think that well, Dr. Sid said in his Lasting Purpose book, he had talked about the AMA fight with Wilkes, and that there's like some sort of Indian custom or saying that they basically, it's an honor to have those kind of enemies, that outside force. It only sharpens the blade. It only, so when we had medicine wanting us not to be who we needed to be for the world to make it better, it was an honor. But now it's inside of us, in our community, in our profession, that are actually the enemy of tech. And I don't think it's an honor. I think that we have to find a balance here to fight back, and fight back strong, with more than just band of brother calls. I mean, I am so grateful that it's out there and it's doing it. I'm so grateful that there's New Beginnings that's having that culture of teaching and bringing the principle and letting people know that it's a marvelous life to unlock your door, share the principle, and see lives change. Today, I've had a patient with me, and I don't mind using the term patient. Other people want to call them whatever it is, but it doesn't matter to me. But she has had like a couple of injuries as she was starting to get better, and something happened, and then something happened. So her care was a lot more intense for a little bit of time, and then it spread out, and then a little tense again. And she said to me, I went to my eye doctor today, and he doesn't know what's going on, but my vision is so much better. He told me not to wear glasses anymore. She goes, do you think it could be chiropractic? And I said, I can only tell you this, what I've told you from day one, that your life gets better when your nervous system is online. The communication is what it's all about. It wasn't really about my application, other than the fact that I knew where I needed to adjust, but I also knew that I get out of the way and your body does the healing. And so that was an opportunity to talk to the people that were also in the office at that time to hear it. But that's what our offices should always be stressing. It's that it have no problem accepting people that have back pain. I have no problem accepting people who have neck pain, but it's not what I'm taking care of them for. And they always say, meet them where they're at. Well, yeah, we do, but then we don't stay there. We move on. And I remember, well, when I was driving to work today, I'm like, so what am I really going to talk about? And what I really kept saying, coming up with, and I have a short ride. And I don't ever listen to the radio. I either thank God for my short ride and that what I'm going to do today, and I'm prepared to do it. But the word responsibility kept coming up. And then it said, tell them what the responsibility is and share what Dr. Didi Umber had said one time from the platform when it came to a doctor at Lyceum. So I'm just going to read you this. It was by Dr. Bill Warner. He talked about the vision of the need. He was talking to the chiropractors and he said, I am not here on your behalf. I am here on the behalf of the millions of people at this moment that are in hallways and hospital rooms. Not only, whoops, sorry about that. Hang on. Okay. Are the millions of people at this moment that are in the hallways and hospital rooms, not only in this country, but in the world. And then he says, the main reason is you and I are responsible for the condition they find themselves in. So I thought that was a powerful thought to say it was our problem that they're doing it. And everybody can say, have like this, oh, wait, they choose what they want to do in their life. It's their fault that they're there. But it was just saying is that our message is not ringing out loud and clear to anybody, as it should be. Our message is simple, but do we play small? Do we talk quietly? And it's something that when you go to Facebook and you see all these things about chiropractic, people adjusting, no understanding of what it is. People who are, now they have ads that will say things like, you don't need a chiropractor, you can sleep on this pillow. So what happens to us? We're diminished to now less than a pillow. It's because we chose not to just stand for what we are. Instead, a lot of times we choose to stand for what we're not. And so our message from now on should be, what are we about? And another thing that came to mind when it was about my responsibility is that, and this happened a long, long time ago for me, because each time I go somewhere and I hear someone speak, I learn that lesson and I use that lesson. And a long time ago, Dean Sotilli said from the platform, he said two things. He said, when he's speaking to his patients, I am your best chance for life. And so if we start, for me, when I said that, I'm like, do I believe that enough? Do I really believe that enough when I go in and I talk to a patient? So a few days I kind of sat with that and I'm like, I think I believe that enough, but I'm going to have to put that into action. And I have to put that into action by actually saying that out loud to people. So a lot of times before I walk through the door now for report of findings, or when I do our Saturday health talk to the new patients, I say outside that I am their best chance for life. And then I go in and I say, we're going to have a report of findings, but I'm going to let you know, this is where I'm coming from. I am your best chance for life. And I do my report of findings. Mostly I show them what their x-rays look like. I don't spend a lot of time on, this is what's causing you to come into my office. I spend a lot of time on that your body is trying to save you, and that's why you came into the office. And so this is how we're going to do it. And then I just explain chiropractic. I don't spend a lot of time in report of findings, and I don't spend a lot of time on my health talk. I don't want to over talk my simple principles, because I think that that's a problem also for us. We don't know when to shut up when we're telling them something that's important. We want to make, make it feel, really good. And so we'll add a lot of other words to it. And so I'm really quick. If it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm in and out for that first report of findings kind of thing. And then we talk about how the office works. We're basically cash practice. This is what you pay, and this is the schedule. And when I talk to them about the schedule, I use another thing that Dean taught me a long time ago. And he says to them, if you had a recipe to make delicious cookies, and it required that you kept it in the oven for 40 minutes, you would have delicious cookies. But if you took them out at 20 minutes, you would have mushy mess and no delicious cookies. So if you want to get the benefits that I know that chiropractic can expand on your life and give you and bring you hope to a better understanding of how your body functions, our schedule is like that recipe. I don't talk you into it. I just give you ideas about how you can perform better. And then I leave and I bring them up front, and then they make the decision whether to come or go, sign up. Some do, some don't. But there was the responsibility. I told them what chiropractic is. I told them what my expectations are for them, and it's in their ball court to do it. So all those millions of people that are in the hospital, it's only because nobody ever shared the principle of what we do and why we do, the importance of it. I have a big mural in my front room that is of a lighthouse, and we always consider the office a beacon of hope, a beacon of love, a beacon of service, and we point it out to the patients. That's why we put it up there. This is a safe place for you to heal, and healing comes in all forms. So my conviction is strong when I say, I believe that this is the best place to save their lives. And so I'm just going to tell you what kind of little testimony of my own. About almost 2 years ago, my legs started to bother me. And they first started bothering me like they felt like cement. They didn't want to bend. But then I started to get where the tendons that attach behind the knee and going into the hamstrings and going down into the calves was painful on every step. And I couldn't bend my legs. And then I started to get intense pressure in my knees and in my ankles. And that if I could have stuck something in to relieve the air, I would have been a happy camper. And I get adjusted once a week. Because I have one of my best friends in the office. We practice alike. We're on it with philosophy. We talk the same language. And, I could get a little comfort, but nothing. And I just called it my neurological nightmare. I didn't have back pain. I have scoliosis. So I know there's got to be canal stenosis, but it wasn't back pain. It was just, it could be in one leg, then it could be both. It could be in the other. And so I went to lunch with a mentor of mine, and he's like, have you gone to an upper cervical chiropractor specifically? And I'm like, dung kind of thing. So I found, first of all, I had one that I knew for a long time, and he was too busy to help me out because I knew I was going to need a lot of help. So I found someone else. They do Grostic work. And I was going daily first, and then it was every other day. I couldn't hold my adjustment. But the first sign after the first visit, as far as that goes, I was able to drive without the pressure in the knees getting so bad. So it was almost immediate that there was a change, but it wasn't a change to change how awful going to the office and staying on purpose was. And so now I'm almost 2 years past that, but not everything is gone. But in the meantime, everybody on the other side of me, whether they were principal chiropractors or just chiropractors, were like, you got to get an MRI. You got to go see this. You got to got to go to a neurologist. And I'm like, no, I don't have to. There's something definitely interfering with my life force that I cannot function. And so if I'm telling that to my patients, I'm going to have to follow through on this. Oh, you're crazy, you're this. Even my family was like, you can't live like this. And I'm like, I'm giving it the time, because what do we say? It takes time. It takes repetition. And so I know that chiropractic works. I just know it works on the body's time. It's on innate's time. It's not on my time. So the longer we stick to telling people about having to stay on a schedule to make that perfect cookie, it's the easiest way that I think that they can start to understand the real reason. Like, it's putting some practicality to it. And so I say that we love and we serve and we give out of our own abundance, expect nothing in return. And I'm just going to read one last thing. And it was from President Jimmy Carter. I have one life and one chance to make it count for something. My faith demands that I do whatever I can, wherever I am, wherever I can, as long as I can, with whatever I have, to try to make a difference. And that's what I'm going to do. Going to still try to make that difference through chiropractic as my vehicle. I love you guys. I appreciate that
Mindy,
you
I
do
got to
this.
give you some feedback. You were
Sure.
dripping so many nuggets. You know, when you started off, and the way I put this call out there was, come and get clear and salt your knot. And everything you brought out tonight was salt in the knot.
That's awesome.
One of our brothers local here on the island, Michael Halloran, success leaves clues.
Yes.
So when you talked about find somebody that does something that is good and follow it. You know, Eddie Cordero said something one time specific to what you brought up before. You're not, and I don't know if he might have copied it from somebody else, but you're not that good. You're not good enough to be humble. And I think the idea of that whole idea of responsibility and what we have to do to get the word out and how much we have to shoulder, until we get that level of certainty, that rock solid certainty that you shared with us tonight. We started off a conversation about why more people don't accept the principle. And part of it is they don't do the work to get into the certainty. I don't get into a lot of arguments, and everybody else who knows me, my heart is to the philosophy, but my head is full of science. And there was something similar to what you had, a thing going on the internet, where a doc that I know that I have great respect for was talking about some principles that he's putting into action in his office and tying them to the 33 principles. And another doc who has no Facebook profile, basically is lambasting him for doing a technique that has not been double-blind studied. And I went to the defense of my friend back and forth, and I can do the science and I can do the philosophy. And we got a little bit of I'm going to call it a dialogue because it didn't really devolve into anything negative. But very quickly, I remember an old admonition: don't get down in the mud, shine brighter.
Mhm.
And I just said, you're welcome to come join us and see what we do, and you and I'll have another conversation. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing good coming out of this. So have a nice day. And then I just blocked that person because there's no point in getting sucked into all the negativity that goes on. There's a tremendous amount of it out there, and we have to basically protect what we have within our understanding of the principle and be able to articulate it and share it. And you did an absolutely fantastic job with it tonight.
Thank you.
Guys, give Mindy a bit of love. Tell her how much you appreciate her coming on tonight, please.
Mindy, you're awesome. You're fantastic. All the things you said was so useful, and you know, I'm going to use as much as I can to help my patients understand the power they have inside their body to heal.
Beautiful. I don't know your name because it just says iPhone.
Leo.
Oh, Leo. Oh my gosh. Hi, Leo. Are you coming to DE?
Well, I went to the last one, and I don't know if I'm going to make this one, but we'll see.
Last one was Passover for me.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was there at the last one and the one before. So,
Oh, cool.
all right. I love you, honey. You're
I
awesome.
love you.
Guys,
Excellent job, Mindy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. You know, it's like John said before, is when you get it fully, it just makes everything more simple. But I think the biggest thing when you were talking about earlier is that there is a disconnect between a person coming in for therapeutic care and trying as a young chiropractor to teach them our philosophy. And that's the bridge that people struggle with. And that's why you see survival first, which is what do they know and what can I teach them? But really what they want is pain relief and a quick exit. And I think that has gotten even worse than it because they don't get the principal in school unless they go to maybe 4 of the whatever amounts there are out there, which aren't even teaching our philosophy. It's just historical at this point. And so without coming in with that or preceptoring in somebody's office that really has that vibe in their world and teaching that, these guys are out there, these ladies are out there, they're just trying to survive, and in the process getting locked into trying to appease people as opposed to teach people. And so it's a tough road. It's a tough road for a chiropractor, and it's all about now just numbers of people that you can get in, and whoever you can take care of, you take care of, and there's no dialogue of our philosophy. It's very disappointing to see it when they see a miracle happen without drugs, without surgery, and their body just heals itself, and they're just not amazed by that. It's just almost like they take it for granted. And sharing that passion, there's not enough of that, and I appreciate you tonight for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mindy, I want to say thank you very much for being a beacon, a lighthouse for Principal Chiropractic everywhere, not just in Florida. And I'm going to steal from you and Dean Satilli that
I steal
baby
from
cookie
everybody.
story.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah, I'm going to use that tomorrow.
know,
Yeah,
In
go right
my
ahead.
office. Oh, you know what? I did write down we do 49 breaths every morning from Monday through Friday. And they're just affirmations. If anybody wants the number, just email me at maweingarten@gmail.com. Plus TE has a texting every morning. They send out a text. I'll give you all
I've
that
shared that.
information.
I get that every morning. I've shared it with everybody.
Yeah,
don't know
I
how many
think it
people
was
did it,
great.
but it's fantastic, especially
Yeah.
Balsamos this morning.
Yes,
John,
and
if you
that was
could-
another thing. Responsibility came with his text this morning, which I
Hmm.
thought was really, really
I'll send it to you
cool.
again, Brian.
Yeah, anything
Yeah,
you need
thank you
for
very much.
that kind of thing I'm always available for sure.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, Mindy, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. I know there's a few other people on, but nobody has their screens on. I wish you the best. Have a safe and happy 4th of July.
I
Dave, you
also
wanna
wanted
say
to tell
anything?
you, I have one other thing is that on my wall besides the lighthouse, I have up there where it basically says, where there is chiropractic vision, all people prosper, BJ Palmer on the wall. So
I'm
people
gonna
see
put it
that.
up tomorrow. Dave, you got to say anything? You got to
You're
unmute. Okay, can't hear you. All right, listen, everybody, have a happy 4th of July, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.